Welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, dear participants, it's a great honor for me to present you the first panel of this day, and I warmly welcome you all. In recent days, especially here in Austria, the importance of cybersecurity has once again been drastically reminded of us. As you maybe have read in the Austrian newspapers, for days the IT system of the state of Carinthia has been paralyzed, and I think now yes, it will take some time to solve these problems. It was caused by criminals, and it has been seen that this is a real threat, although it is abstract. So there is no visible opponent, there is no email we can take or a letter we can take. There is no call we get for this threat. So we are used to see an enemy and to defend. But this is a virtual problem. So virtuality and the internet has a lot of good advantages. So I also want to welcome all the participants who take part in this session via the internet, their computers and smartphones. But on the other side, it is a big threat. And we know, as I was a soldier for 25 years in the Austrian National Guard. We had a training to defend the critical infrastructure. It was a power grid here close to Vienna, and we were around and looked at all the possible enemies who want to target this power grid. But then I read an article that in another country, a big atomic power grid was threatened by the internet, by cybercrime, and it was quite close to make a big incident for that. So then I thought, so we are sitting now there to defend this big power grid, but possibly the enemies are already inside this power grid. Nobody is really aware of that. So therefore, I think a session like this, an event like this, is very important to enhance the knowledge about this threat, and also that it is absolutely necessary to support the newest technology to defend these threats and also to enhance the international relationship. So national and international cooperation is very important, and as we see here in Austria, we have a lot of very experienced companies in that area, but of course they are smaller and mid-sized, and they need partners, they need cooperation to be also able to work and to be strong in the international market. So therefore, I'm very proud and happy that we have a very high-ranking panel today. We have a little delay, so we want to save this delay, but I think there will be enough time for your presentations and maybe also for discussions. And also, it is possible for our virtual participants to take questions, and we will summarize them and as good as possible we will answer them. So maybe now I announce you the first panelist. It's Mr. Oleksiy Feshchenko. I hope I pronounce it well. Mr. Feshchenko has joined the UN Office on Drugs and Crime in 2013, and since that he is an expert in anti-money laundering and in cybercrime and money laundering sessions. He participated in a lot of programs relating to this problem in Antwerp and in OSCE University, and he holds a PhD in mathematics. So he is in practice and also in theory very experienced. Please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, dear participants, dear chair, thank you very much. I just want to make a very short presentation about threats in particular area, which is blockchain and namely cryptocurrencies and related financial technologies. I don't want to scare you too much, but let me say, we are living at quite interesting times, and more interesting times are coming. I work for the United Nations Office for Drugs and Crime. Before, I worked as a national international anti-money laundering agency. Before, I worked in TAPS service, and everywhere. With law enforcement, with civil service, you see the same arms race technology. It's normal. Government takes one step, then criminals come with something more clever, then government makes another effort, and it's going on. It went like this for maybe 100 years, decades, but now the time is really progressing. Let's see why. First of all, approximately 10 years ago, we have what cryptocurrencies, we have what Bitcoin. From nothing, from scientific experiment, now it became a mainstream. If you want to buy drugs online, the payment of choice is, of course, cryptocurrencies. We can discuss Bitcoin, whatever, something else, but de facto standard is buying drugs online, you pay to cryptocurrencies. Fine. It's used now to many things. Buy weapons, just to move money without control, circumvent sanctions, evade taxes, anything like normal money. And somehow it took approximately 10 years governments to find a solution. Now we know more or less what to do with Bitcoins. We know how to investigate them, we know how to trace them, we know how to seize and confiscate them. Some countries even know how to properly regulate and supervise them. Fine. It took 10 years, but still work in progress, but the solution is here. Now, legal progress. Sorry, national legislation for many countries has been written more or less for the 20th century, which is fine. I work for the United Nations. United Nations conventions are written for the 20th century. When we talk about investigation, when we talk about organized crime, we know how to deal with phones, with physical crime, more or less. Hopefully, we know what to do with emails. When it comes to disruption of internet servers, other UN conventions are but Bitcoins, it did not exist 10 years ago, and it's still very hard to squeeze new technologies into modern legislation. Just a question. How to define legally ownership? Who is the legal owner of Bitcoin? 10 years, finally governments now have more or less stable search. Who is so-called private key who owns Bitcoin? Still, it is possible to do only at the moment of transaction. Between two transactions, Bitcoin stays with something like a, you can call it quantum state. Anyone could be owner of this Bitcoin. And all our legislation has been written very well for gold, cash, maybe for bank money. All our legislation was not suited for this new concept. Still, it is here, and governments need somehow to deal with it. Step by step, it is possible. Now, we come another box of Pandora. Smart contracts, decentralized autonomous organizations. It is something. It's not a person. It's not a legal person. It's not a company. It has no director, no owner, no administrator. Still, it operates with billions, literally. It distributes profits or collects profits. is doing something with a lot of money. I bet you open probably 80 civil codes out of 100 globally, and you will see that all our civil codes, they are written for legal persons, companies, okay, maybe some companies have covered trust and similar structures for them. Decentralized autonomous organization, smart contracts, they are almost totally outside of the legal field. Still, there is something that is not in our legislation, but it's pretty much alive and it operates. What to do? Welcome. This is next Pandora box. And what to do with such operations? There is a solution, so-called on-chain security. It's a more complicated technology compared to traditional endpoint tracing. Still, it is possible. But it requires quite a lot of efforts from industry, and also it requires a lot of efforts from governments on regulation and supervision. But this is the next step after regulation of simple bitcoins. And first step, Bitcoin is not regulated in many countries yet, but already the economy is working on smart contracts. You will see that most of cryptocurrency business is now around smart chain, around Ethereum-based tokens. And governments around the world, they are not ready for this second stage, but it is possible. Then we talked briefly about definition of legal ownership of Bitcoin. Based on definition, based on private key, is possible. We have found this solution, and more or less government might use this in their legislation. But there are other technologies. You can take so-called multi-party computations that give you no private keys, but pieces of information scattered around, maybe you can say 100 or 1,000 of people. If they need to confirm something, they all need to give consent. Try to squeeze this new concept into our legislation with the concept of property ownership. I'm not aware, I don't know the answer to this question. I hope it will be possible to. Finally, we are still living in more or less traditional economy. Yes, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, they have more or less 2 or 3 trillion, or probably rather 2 trillion of market capitalization. And all efforts of the governments, all security, all investigation, they're based on one factor. It's not possible yet to live 100% in Bitcoins or cryptocurrencies. But it's going to change. And it's going to change much faster, sooner than we may think. And there is one crucial moment that leads inevitably to this situation. We need just one large economy in the world to introduce so-called CBDC, central bank digital currency. It could be super centralized, controlled by the central bank, tightly controlled by the government. But as soon as you have one factor, as soon as you have your central bank digital currency on your phone, it's done. Because inevitably, the technology allows, once you have a CBDC in the wallets of population on smartphones without the hardware chip, just a software-based wallet, it means immediately, without government can do whatever they can. But once you have software wallets for central bank digital currency, inevitably you get a gateway between central bank digital currency and cryptocurrency. And once you get it, it's a total change of situation. Because now, okay, today, if I have my bitcoins, it's not very convenient to go to pay for coffee. car, to invest into stocks, to buy a house, to make a payment, to pay salary to my employees. Still, I need to do some exchanges. Still, I need to exchange my bitcoins with euros, dollars, whatever. Possible, but still, it takes some time. It depends on the country. It's not very easy. And banks are controlled very nicely, controlled by central government. But once we have this situation with CBDC and the gateway, it's over. I have my bitcoins here, and because of the gateway, I can jump from my phone with my bitcoins to my another electronic wallet, but it's a central bank money. They're legal. And now I will really need just to push button, and then I'm jumping from cryptocurrency to real world, and I can pay salaries, I can buy houses, I can buy cars, I can pay for electricity, do whatever I want. And because of this, it means that the existing very young system of security in the crypto area, which is based on one factor. You need to exchange bitcoins to real money. It will be obsolete. And we will come back when I talked about this to one of the cryptocurrency jurisdictions. They looked at this, but it means that we reset the clock. We are back to 1950s, 1960s, when cash was the king. Banks ask no questions about origin of your money, and you would bring a suitcase of cash across the border and deposit cash in the bank. Yes, it means exactly resetting the clock. When we jump to 100% crypto economy, all controls will not work. This means we need to be ready for this. As soon as we start, they will be ready. What to do? Solution is traditional, simple. Right? First of all, it's about skills and knowledge. You need people who understand how all this operates. And then you need experts who can do investigation, who can trace coins, law enforcement who can seize and confiscate coins, and you need a lot of efforts on proper regulation and supervision of bitcoins. Here comes the role of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. That's what we are doing since year 2016. Literally, in 3 days, you give us your officers, your specialists. They don't need to be computer specialists. They don't need to be super hackers. They just need to have a bit of common sense, know either financial side or cyber side, and they should be able to start internet browser and be able to move mouse around. Literally, that's enough. In 3 days, they can start cryptocurrency investigations. We have examples. We have examples when after our training in West Africa, literally in 3 days, the person who attended the course, he was able to solve the case. The cost of this case was 3 times more than the cost of the entire training. Okay, it was a simple case. Still, before he was not able to do it, after he solved this case. We have trained also, for example, our recent training was German police. And I must say, I always admire German police because last year they have sold quite a number of bitcoins, and they were able to sell them at the top price of the market, and they sold it even with a premium. Someone paid 56,000 euros for Bitcoin. Surprisingly, this Bitcoin that has been sold is still, as of yesterday, it did not move. Someone has bought this Bitcoin and just kept it. I don't know, maybe looking for the biggest price. Anyway, I will stop now and thank you for attention.
Thank you very much. Mr. Feshchenko, one of the messages which was that the cyber criminals, that they always one step further than we are, and we have to do our best to compensate this, and also that education and training is very important. Because we often see, especially at companies, that they think that the IT supervisor in their own company is enough, and that maybe a spamware is enough to defend security for cyber crimes. That's not the truth. So thank you very much for your presentation. And our next panelist will be Mr. Herbert Leitold. He's Executive Director of AACC Austria. This is Secure Information Technology Center. And he is Director of the non-profit foundation Secure Information and Communication Technologies. He is involved in a lot of networks and expert groups, also in the European Union and abroad. And we are very happy that you are here. Please do this open for you.
Thank you for the warm introduction, Your Excellencies, the audience. It's a high privilege to speak to such a honorable group. And in my talk, I've selected two topics where I want to discuss what happens if things go wrong. Things, as you will see, can miserably go wrong. The two topics are basically ransomware, we heard it a few times today, and a few thoughts from blockchain. Before I get into that, let me just share a minute what AACC is. AACC is a non-profit association primarily meant to support and advise the public sector on information security aspects. The association consists of the Federation, represented by the Ministry of Digital Affairs and Economics, the Federal Computing Center as an organization that implements information technology, and as a scientific stream, so universities, France University of Technology, the Danube organized students. For instance, we are conforming and certification body under the EU IDAS regulation, that you will learn a bit more trust services and electronic identity that guidance relates to in the afternoon. So our prime mission is to make public sector and also citizen infrastructure more secure. And one of our initiatives we did was to investigate a bit what can be done related to ransomware, what is experience of victims, and together with the Federation of Austrian Industries, we interviewed actual victims. And for those that are not aware what ransomware is, it is basically hackers disrupting the service of an organization by basically encrypting and quote-unquote destroying the operations and then blackmailing the organization to decrypt and make the IT systems operational again. And what Excellence Scheibner and also what Lieber referred to in Communication, that is exactly what happens there. And in discussing and interviewing the industries involved, mainly on the chief executive chief information security officer level, we wanted to learn what the pain points of the organizations of the industry were when such effects happened. And derive some lessons learned and give advice to other organizations so that they can make their infrastructure more secure. And what were the findings? Actually, all of the companies, we are talking about the industrial sector that is pretty dependent on information technology, the sector knows that. All organizations were well prepared. They had state-of-the-art information security installed. They had processes, they had state-of-the-art technology in terms of information security, as one would expect from a modern organization. Still, they were victim to ransomware. And in all of those organizations, the impact of such an attack was to a large extent underestimated. If a ransomware attack is not about a few computers no longer working, it is switching off the organization within a few hours, and the organizations no longer had contacts with their employees, the telephone system didn't work, email didn't work, production didn't work. In most of the organizations, it essentially was switching off all technology that was available. In actually all the organizations we talked to, the entry door was a human. Either having a quick password or clicking on an attachment received via email, and even though modern systems give 5 pop-up windows you need to click on that warn you that you're in a dangerous situation and it might have consequences. Humans did click, and that is where the issue started. And what all organizations learn is that the hackers are moving around in their network for a few weeks, even up to months, with administrator privilege, basically meaning learning the whole network, the whole infrastructure, turning off the backup system to just make sure that the attack is most disastrous. And key for all organizations was that, in particular on the management level, that they entered into an unplanned situation. None of the organizations has planned for such a situation where you no longer can communicate with your employees, that all the technology is so good. And all organizations increase the risk mitigation. And just a few examples of what in terms of infrastructure would have helped to avoid such an attack. First and utmost, if multi-factor authentication would have been the default, many of the attacks wouldn't have happened. And I refer to the session on electronic identities in the afternoon, because if such a broad infrastructure would be available, that would be a security infrastructure as well that would protect such attacks. In many aspects, it was also kicking on the attachments where the sole fact that on clients that they really need web metros or other technologies were enabled for that, were an entry point as well. User awareness as the human factor was often the entry point, was important in all of the situations, but the responsibility on such issues cannot lie with the user. It needs technology, it needs preparation, but it requires making the infrastructure of the organization or stay as or resilient. So that if such an attack happens by segmenting the networks to limit the effect. So far, a few words on and what can go wrong, what the experience of organizations that was. And now, after your excellent talk, I will need to say a lot about blockchain decentralized infrastructures, just a few thoughts. From a bird's perspective, blockchain, peer-to-peer networks promise that they are secure as processing and data is shared amongst a huge population of components, nodes, and networks. This, however, is a security assumption. The assumption is no informal dogma. I just quoted a few of articles colleagues of mine in AACC did on attacking such infrastructures. For instance, the first paper referring to the Eclipse attack, basically meaning if you have a network of a lot of nodes, but you can eclipse, meaning you can take out one node after the other of such a network. The security promise that is the massive decentralization that makes the environment secure no longer holds. And in peer-to-peer network called interplanetary file system, a very decent name for an infrastructure, we showed that with limited effort, we could take out the so-called bootstrap nodes, meaning the high privilege nodes one after another, and take down the whole network. Or other examples, for instance, with one cryptocurrency, called first coin, we showed that such 50% attacks, meaning taking over or overpowering the hash rate, the computation power of the network is possible. And also referring what Feshchenko said, that laws mainly relate to legal persons or natural persons. In such a decentralized infrastructure, I would raise the question: what is the governance? What is the liability if something goes wrong? And things can go wrong. Who does a user turn to if such a decentralized infrastructure will no longer an organization because it's a way to turn to that is liability is there. So that were my few thoughts on cybersecurity and blockchain, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leitold. So we come to the next panelist, Mr. Martin Stierle. He is the head of competence unit security and communication technologies in the Austrian Institute of Technology, and he is also responsible for the research topic cybersecurity inside this institute. He holds a PhD in physics from the Vienna University of Technology. Please, the floor is yours.
Excellences, distinguished guests, it's a great pleasure and honor to be with you and to provide some ideas on what cybersecurity research is on at the moment, and what is the challenges and topics we are facing. I just wanted to provide you an input and an overview of what we are doing. So in cybersecurity, I think we have at least different topics to approach. So the first topic, of course, is how to better defend. So we want to develop products in order to defend our infrastructure and what we could do here. And as it was already told in the last talk, enemies want to enter our infrastructure and stay there for long in order to really design their attack in the best way. So what we do here is to develop new products in the field of anomaly detection, which use artificial intelligence to better defend. Then, of course, when you want to defend, you have to do your risk analysis. So I at least doing some research here. But I think the other topic which was not mentioned today is, and that's especially relevant for all industrial products, we have to change our way to develop software. We have to develop better products. So in that sense, in most of the industrial products, we have safety critical issues, and that's an area how to co-design software which is providing you all the safety topics, but also providing defense against cybersecurity. Because in safety, you normally don't want to touch a running system for years. In cybersecurity, you want to bring in your update every day. So in this discrepancy, we are staying with in the field of cybersecurity. Then, since the topic was blockchain, I will provide a bit of input to the topic on cryptography, and I avoid to discuss blockchains and institutions. I will come to the topic of multi-party computation, which Mr. Feshchenko already introduced a bit. And that's more the research topics I wanted to give you an example of those. And here I come to our cooperation with the Arabic world. I think in all of our societies, and that's not relevant if that's Europe, if it's US, Arabic world, we all miss talents in cybersecurity. We don't have enough experts. So we need to work to increase the capacities to develop better products on the one hand side and better defend on the other hand side. And last but not least, as Mr. Scheibner told, we don't see our enemies anymore in the virtual world, so we offer a bit of penetration testing. So normally, as a company, you ask your consultant to become this. And in that area, we especially develop a penetration test for the automotive industry, which is a strong use. So the field of anomaly detection, what we focused on already some years ago is to analyze log files. So we developed a toolbox in order to acquire the data and to develop a self-learning system in order to find if someone is in your system, if there's anomalies to be identified, and where you have to react in order to avoid those ransomware attacks or those long-term attacks which you find especially in the big investment companies as the main area. In the field of better designing systems, here we collaborate with Lieber and we developed a tool basically which was already released, which basically focuses on the co-design of safety and security in the field of risk analysis. We also introduce automatically and provide input for the software developers on the relevant standards and develop our own threat catalog on the published material in the area in order to provide feedback to the software developer teams on the existing risks so that they can redesign and rewrite the risk analysis and see how they increase and develop their software further in order to achieve a system that they can live with their management, with the risks. So, next topic, coming to new cryptography. Here we are really happy that we even did the startup out of our research activities called Catch Correct. And basically what we do here is we put together cryptographic primitives in order to develop a platform for industrial components. In that context, it's furnaces of the company Scheibner. They are very special and only limited numbers existing worldwide. And Scheibner developed a platform to increase the productivity of his customers. Doing that is offering blind options to new customers needing those furnaces. And blind options are incredibly nice and easy to be implemented in cryptography. And what we focus on is that you really have verifiability, that you really, because if you win the auction, it's nice for the two partners. But those who lose want to be able to verify that I have that auction. And that's the one. And last but not least, and I come to the topic of increasing capacities and training. We developed its own summer range. Basically here, we are in strong cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency and also the long-term cooperation with the Advanced Cyber Academy in Muscat, in Oman. And what is a summer range? Basically, it's a virtual infrastructure where you build up your hardware, install your hardware as you like it according to your customer. So that is the IT infrastructure of your company, and also in the operational technology, in the industrial part of the company, you provide the hardware, the software, and then you introduce some attacks here and let the people from your customers train how to behave in terms of processes, or on the other hand, really to develop their skills in terms of technology, developing their infrastructure. And in that area, we are also in discussion in the United Arab Emirates with the atomic energy company Lieber, energy industry on training. And we started recently with the National Bank in Amman, Jordania. So we are open to leave Europe and cooperate outside of Europe, especially in that area. And our approach is not to fly in our experts and do some training, but in Muscat, where we started our activities, we focused on and train the trainer group. We are convinced that you need experts in your own country to better defend your infrastructures. So you need to increase the know-how within your own customers. The same story as we have in Austria, we need to increase experts together with the universities, Austria and Austrian, but also in other countries we are prepared to go. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think the big advantage and the aim of UACC is to bring even smaller, mid-sized companies together under your umbrella to develop projects and research projects, and even bring them also to the market. It's important. You have mentioned the framework with MAN. I was there in Moscow looking at the Cybersecurity Center, and it is amazing. And all these training centers to see there and how they educate in all the ministries, give the younger staff to be aware on this threat. This is also a good advantage what is necessary to prepare for that. So the next panelist will be Mr. Josef. He is CEO of the Icarus Security Software company and also founder and president of Cybersecurity Austria. And what I have seen is also for him it's also very important to support education and training in this topic. So it's also a support of Digital City Vienna and the education initiatives. So it's very interesting what we can hear from you.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, many thanks for coming here and joining this really important topic. We've heard a lot about threats, new risks facing our society, facing our industries. I'm within this cybersecurity industry since 1991, so for a very long period. And what I've learned within this long time is quite simple, that everything we've done to protect our infrastructures failed. Every new technology, every approach to protect our infrastructure and our societies failed by the simple fact that the attacker is much more people, much more to win. Has more or less all advantages from his side. So when you're facing or dealing with new technology, next generation protection models, be sure it's just a question of little fails. This was more or less the conclusion to me 12 years ago when I decided to leave these traditional ways to protect our infrastructures, to focus solution path. I believe this might be only thinking of this is everything education, everything our young talent, convince them to join the cybersecurity community. That's what cybersecurity was created for. Yeah, it's not to make the bird turn around, so sorry for the headline. Does not change our goals. As mentioned before, we are raising the overall raising awareness for cybersecurity, one as well as we try to establish infrastructures to have enough of those really rare talents and young people and human capabilities which can help us to address this topic. The most successful model, therefore, which we have developed is the Austrian Cybersecurity Challenge, which is nothing else than a hacker challenge. So, why they call it hacker challenge? Because we find out quite fast that cybersecurity is a product of coincidence. The excellence in cybersecurity field is primarily given because young people are really motivated based on their intrinsic motivation to achieve these qualifications. deal with cybersecurity at the level which is really for school systems. Universities fail to provide this knowledge. So what we try to achieve is sustainable structures for development of cybersecurity excellence growth, because this is the really urgently needed key factor in all our cybersecurity transformations. It's obvious and quite clear what we face is a rising demand for IT security experts for our society. And it's also clear that we have far too less of these experts. So the demand for those experts will increase much faster than our education systems address this growth. I see. Consequence is more or less clear. I mean, we have to accept less security, which probably will bring the risk of successful attacks, so that we are not able to implement really critical infrastructure projects, or on the other hand, we risk to implement really critical infrastructure projects and more or less accept a high risk, and more or less that we don't have the capability to run or operate them in a really safe and secure way. So our mission is to develop sustainable cooperations between public sectors and industries, because the knowledge in cybersecurity area is in our university sectors and in our industries. Now we have to make sure that this knowledge will be accessible to our high schools and even younger talents and young students, pupils in Austria also, or even not in Austria, also about Europe. As you might know, digitalization of our society includes, of course, a lot of chances. No doubt, this chances should be there. But it also includes a lot of risks, and we can master these risks. Otherwise, we will run into serious problems. Both taking the chances and mastering the risks needs more or less highly motivated and top educated, qualified talents. And provide our society with those talents, we need highly sophisticated educational systems. Otherwise, our students in our high school technically will fail to get this knowledge. The problem is that we're not in a comfortable situation like probably in the United Nations in addressing an important topic with a 3-day training. The problem is that you could not close the gap with a 6 months training. It takes you 12 to 15 years to become a security expert, and this is quite a long period. And together with the fact that we don't have the educational capabilities, therefore, you could expect that we are facing these problems for a long, long time now. The way how we try to reach this goal in Austria, as I mentioned before, is the Austrian Cybersecurity Challenge, which we started in 2011. We have had 600 participants last year, and we expect nearly 700 participants this year. And what we can see in the last years is the rise of talents due to our efforts to teach teachers, to motivate trainers, to spend their time with young pupils, young students, to make them aware, to motivate them to deal with cybersecurity. The Austrian Cybersecurity Challenge model was adapted by ENISA, the European Network Information Security Agency, it's become a real success story for Europe now. So ENISA is more or less providing a European final for all participating countries since 2014. And yeah, I'm really honored and happy that this final of ECC do is in Vienna in September this year. And as you can see, a lot of European countries still join this path to address the topic of using attracting young talents, young students, young people to join cybersecurity path. The last years, we have had up to 70,000 young talents all over Europe. That's really a lot. And we expect up to 20,000 young talents joining the national qualifications this year. Together with the European Cybersecurity Challenge, we are offering the so-called Open European Cybersecurity Challenge, which is a global model and open for everybody who wants to join. It's based on Austria cybersecurity as well, and we expect up to additional 20,000 cybersecurity enthusiasts from all over the world. And of course, your universities, your students are also invited to join to show their capabilities to compete with Europe's and North American as well as Asian talents and find out how strong we are and have fun joining the global cybersecurity community. So it will be an honor for us if you spread this work in your country also to bring these invitations to your country. The United Arab Emirates will join in 2020 this year, so we're very proud that the team from the Gulf states will join. And this was almost a suggestion and presentation from my side. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pichlmayr, for this very interesting presentation and your training program. So last but not least, we have Mr. Lieber. Lieber is the president of the Austrian Software Industry Association, president of the Austrian Trade Association for small mid-sized enterprises. And under the umbrella of the Lieber Group, he has a lot of companies providing innovation, information technology, model-based software consulting, training activities. Education training seems to be the most important challenge we have to face on. So, Mr. Lieber, please, we're waiting for you.
Somewhere else. It's better than ours. Okay. No, not really good. So, well, welcome from my side. My name is Lieber, as announced. The Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Last before lunch, I know, but hopefully not the least. So it's all about security, and you have heard about that security is pain-driven. So you have an issue, you have to solve the issue, you do pen testing, you find a team that helps with that situation. And currently is failing since 2 weeks already to get up and run, things up and running again, and major issues. But it really starts a little bit earlier. To talk about what I want to talk about today is that security has been done by design. And 3 years ago, I think it was 3 years ago, I was a software engineer, and in my heart it was about modern software, feature-driven, new aspects, cars, space shuttles, whatever we have developed. And we never thought about security because we thought very high features, functionality, that the car is driving alone. And we never thought, hey, security, this is to be done by the security engineers afterwards. And we had a discussion with the Austrian Institute of Technology and in a research topic about getting threats up front, so meaning during the development process, and that was kind of a new thought. And I think it's a real game changer to think about security as a part of the development process. To make the systems existing secure is the hardware. You cannot make the internet secure. It's a problem of the protocol. It's a problem of the layers of the architecture of the internet itself. But we can make our software not only safe, we can make it also secure. And this is what I want to talk about. So, mouse or not mouse. So give you a short introduction about my main company. So I drive more than one company, but I'm focused on the model-based software engineering. My major product that I'm reselling in Europe is Enterprise Architect. Enterprise Architect has more than 1 million users over the world. And in Europe, we have 250,000 active users of the system that is mainly used in different domains of modeling architecture. But we found out that the tool alone is not enough. You need a methodology, you need expertise, and so on. And so we founded another company, LieberLieber, especially for the systems domain, and we are in use in Texas also because we have NASA as a customer from a small Austrian perspective. It's a huge customer, but it's before the edge. And therefore, it's very important to deal also with customers that are in this domain. What I want to talk today is a little bit and we thought about okay, what we can tackle about the threat model. I have discussed with Austrian companies this threat modeling is a thing that after the pain, after the issue occurred, at the end we stated, hey, it would be clever in the future to avoid any future issues. Think about threat modeling. Just one sentence in 20 pages, 100 pages, document explaining what the issue was. So looking in the past, solved it, but for the future, it would be clever to think about threat modeling. And threat modeling is an old technique that I think Microsoft Engineering founded, and also the Institute of Technology in 2008 started to think about how to automate threat modeling. Because nowadays it's a new engineer's job to identify issues. And the classification of such issues are spoofing, tampering, reputation, information disclosure, denial of service, regulation, and privilege. So we call this short strike model. And if you think about autonomous driving or automotive or software on wheels, in the future it's not a car, it's software on wheels, then it's the major thing to think about current existing threats. And so I will look at the automotive showcase. So in very soon time, almost 86% of the connected vehicle will be in the automotive market. And this is a challenge. All cars are connected, all cars are online, and you cannot change the SIM card. The cut off the cable because you have no access to the cable anymore because it's online connected. And the cybercrime is on the rise at the same time. It's globally very fast growing, and it's not only the car itself, it's also the backend systems. It's not only the key fob to steal your car. I think to steal a car is easy. You can do it in the past all the time, but it's much easier to just take the code to open the car and to compromise the backend system. It's more interesting because you don't have access to one car. You can access all the Teslas in the world. You can access all the Lieber's in the world, and just take over control. And it's not a story that is new. It's 2015 that was the pilot year because a lot of car vendors have been compromised. But it was a good starting point to find a global standard to wait in the future. And therefore, UNODC EP 29 defines new requirements for type approval. So any new car that wants to get approval in the world, and so we have already some Arabic states here, and Chinese is the list, but China is on track and will be attending. US people try to make their own standards, we don't know. But it's very important that there are new tool regulations around cybersecurity, but also software updates. So if you drive a car and the software updates to control the machines is running at this time, it would be an issue. You can see all the Tesla cases in the past. What happens if the autonomous driving is taking over control and the software update is coming and the car behavior is different. So there is a new regulation for it to get time approval for your car. And this is not, as mentioned already before, a one-time approval. You have to do it more than once. As long as the time the car is on the street, you have to verify as a vendor of cars that you have the fulfilled clarification of cybersecurity bias providing software updates. So what do we believe is that innovation or this game changer must be not to avoid anything that is existing already, but to have it in mind already during the design phase of the development of the systems. I have another picture that's produced that I have not used this crystal sample. I have used it from the Middle Age, from the Stone Age in this case. It was always the case of avoid the threat. Avoid threatening the kids, the children, the women, the older people that will wooden walls against the enemies, against the roofs and the big bears and so on, and even the other things, bring them a mountain to make it even more secure. But the challenge we have never thought about was, hey, there are other humans, and humans are clever. And humans have invented fire and found out, hey, wood fire is a thing. Fire can attack the wood. You can even get into this and get the secrets out, the essence out of that heat. Okay, against the fire, stone is helpful. And now we're in the Middle Age, and as you know, we have not so much castles anymore. So we have not evolved around Vienna because we found better ways to deal with each other. But in that time, cannons were against stones. So, and we found out it doesn't help to get more and bigger walls, and we found economics and general progresses and so on to find the concept of peace. And this was helpful in the past, but nowadays we have a new enemy, and the new enemy is not visible. It's always there. And so we have to think how to deal with that. So FredGate, to give you a short introduction, we can talk about afterwards in the lunchtime. FredGate is a two-based approach so that you don't need 25 years of experience to use knowledge of security engineers that addresses in different domains. It's maybe automotive, critical infrastructure, it's industrial Internet of Things, it's railways, transportation, aviation, space, whatever your safety is in danger. So where possible, people can be insured. So we have to focus there because there is a demanding market, and automotive because there's a regulation already in place in the next year where you have to deal with cybersecurity. In the past, yes, we have some Excel sheets, spreadsheets, Word documents explaining what they are doing or not doing, but in reality, for insurances, there is a great demand for insurance. If it happens, somebody else has to pay. But that's not an answer for the real issue. And then we are thinking about changing the game by addressing it in a different way. I don't like too much in this times we gain speaking the not most famous person to give a statement, but I think the barrier to change is not military. We all care about cybersecurity. You are here. There is an event in parallel in Zurich, only 500 meters from here. It's a 3-day event and held by Austrian Student Technology in parallel. So there is a lot of caring there, but the issue is everybody says, hey, it's a great issue. It takes 12 to 25 years to understand the issue. I don't start as complex. And I think it's a matter of caring for everybody and to take that complexity journey. What does FredGate? FredGate tries to create a higher level of abstraction. So meaning you describe a system architecture and put the connections between your system architecture, not at the level of software, because the level of software is sometimes not understandable, but on a higher level. And the higher level could be a car, the wheels, the asset could be the position of the car, could be who is the person driving the car, as also they need information. If you want to attack the nuclear reactor taking over one of the cars, then would be a clever idea to know who's in the car, is he doing something against it. You need the sensor data, you have a lot of ECUs. Do you know how many binary lines involved in a modern car is, like software lines? Then you have any idea. It's 100 million lines of code in a car, in a modern car. Mainly about HMI, because compared to the Airbus, how many lines of code do you think is an Airbus? It's old. Airbus is 20 years old technology, just to let you know. So it's 300 30 million lines of code, so less than a car. That's why is a pilot is competent. Maybe good answer. Or and so we have a lot of things in the car that is there and has code that is grown over time. So a car is currently a very software-related thing. More than 200 ECUs for whatever is in the cars. And how to deal with that complexity helps you to find a model, and not only the lines of code, you have to have a higher abstraction in the model as well. What you get out automatically by the spread-get solution built by AIT, with the knowledge of AIT, there are more than 1,400 threads that are addressed with a rule-based engine, automatically addressed. And set of this simple sample of an architecture with some cybersecurity attributes, you get a list of 46 threads with different classification and how you can address it. It's also a guide, it's not only automatically analyze which system you architecture, it also gives guidance how you can tackle it. Nevertheless, visualization, or the higher you get in management, the more important is the visualization. If you want to know how dangerous is this possible threat, does it happen, or is it a certain threat, or is it unlikely? And that is also a thing to get out of such an architectural approach. So just to give you an insight, you need a system model. You set security properties that are related to the system model. If it's the default scenario, it's encrypted, it's better. It's not very likely that you can access, but if it's unencrypted, it's easy to access. Then you make an automatic analysis. You don't need a security engineer up front, but maybe now it makes sense. Hey, I have a lot of threads in my system architecture. Please, how can I get rid of it? What I have to do in my system architecture to make it more secure. And then we have the threat with the impact, and you can have a risk and support to address this risk. Where does this knowledge of AIT comes from? So a lot of knowledge is public. You can find it in the internet. What is the issue if you find it in the internet? Everybody knows it's even the attacker. But there is a great number of threads that is the intellectual property of AIT. So I don't know, but they know. So there are more than 400 possible threats that are not public knowledge. And this is also part of the solution. So you are addressing issues that is not public knowledge. So we are hopefully a little bit upfront hackers if you know your own systems better. And you can extend the systems, because if you are Volkswagen or Audi or Leiter, then you have maybe some knowledge about issues of your own solutions, and you can extend that threat database by that specific threats, and you can even have in your supply chain a better solution for your vendors to make these systems that are subsystems even safe, more safe in your ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lieber. Thank you very much for all the panelists for your very interesting remarks and presentations. Yes. We have seen that there is a need to react on these threats. We should always be aware that the end security is the main base of all developments in the traditional sense, but also in the sense of cyber security. So for that, I think we have heard a lot of that, and we need more awareness on that. We need more research, cooperation, knowledge, budget, and of course, a lot of more education. So thank you very much, and I think the panelists will be able to answer your questions during the lunch break. But before that, we have a very important point to discuss, and we are very proud that His Excellency Mr. Abdulbaset Albaour, the Chairman of the General Authority for Communication and Information in Libya, will make here a proposal to prepare an international agreement on the use of information technology in cybercrime. Your Excellency, please, the floor is yours.
Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for my invitation for this session. To the speakers before they talk about the cybersecurity and techniques. Cybersecurity topic almost many parties can be consistent to many parties. For example, technical part and knowledge and also agreements and law. In this part, we propose to prepare international agreement on the use of information technology in cyber security. Introduction for this part, we talk about today that digital technology is the main driver of life. It has become the largest part of daily dealing at all levels for citizens and government. Many of modern concepts of digital technology have led to its great exploration in many topics that affect people's life. And this broad use has led to a tool of crime, which called cybercrime. This technology has also been used in absence of international law to protect data and invasion of sovereignty, both of the level of individuals and societies as well as the government of states. What we note today, in absence of the international document in which all countries participate in setting policies for the general framework for combating and reducing the cybercrime. Problem, that's why we are facing now, and I have to solve this problem. The problem is the development of information and communication technology has made cybercrime easier and simpler. Cybercrime has become a source of lifeline for many, especially in the absence of regulation and laws and law. that can control this complex process and set limits and standards for dealing with it, as well as due to the lack of oversight of the service provider through the various electronic media. Objectives of this document, in the international document for regulation or agreement or laws, the objective to protect users, raise awareness, digital sovereignty, calibration, reduce risk, safe platforms, uniform standard, exchange of experience. That's why we are here to explain to you what we need to do in this agreement or this document. The methodology for this document, I think, is from our side. Maybe sometime when we discuss with many parties in international how to prepare this document. Many methodologies can be used for this document. Just I want to talk about this because this is different between many parties or many views. Document overview. Maybe when we talk about this document or agreement, what's the content of this document or regulation or agreement? First of all, cooperation between countries in this field and capacity building is first of all. Second one, capacity building in digital forensic is the first. I think this is very important topic in the cybersecurity. Preparing foundation of digital forensic or electronic forensic, governance, and mechanism how to interact between the countries, issuance and comprehensive document focusing on the cybersecurity for IT infrastructure and digital service providers, imposing general cybersecurity policy on information technology, information and infrastructure service provider, which may use it in cybercrime, forming the technical working group, also drafting the procedures to issue the legislation on the mechanism for verifying personal identity in electronic application, also requiring the companies and the institution, whether governmental or otherwise, to adopt this privacy to number 10, cooperation of electronic service provider. Number 11, instruct countries to develop their laws on the cooperating with cases involving the virtual crime. Many topics can be covered in this document. And the last, today we discuss with you how to prepare this document. I think many parties in the international world, for example, in the UN, discuss this topic. But until now, we don't have a document to align this all topics in one draft or in one document with the world. Thank you for listening to this.
Excellency, thank you very much for your presentation. I hope it will be discussed seriously, and we have the first opportunity now during the lunch break. All the panelists are also able to answer your question. Thank you very much for your attendance, and you have now the opportunity to rest a little bit until 1, I think. Yes, the buffet is open. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.